Okay, in today's class, I want to take a class for C Sharp. Okay, it is also a programming language like your C, C++, Java. So it is a compiler-based programming language. As I told you that if you have any idea over C, C++, Java, it is very simple to understand, switch to other programming languages. So syntax is somewhat similar to C, C++, like Java. Okay, so C Sharp, it is designed by, it is a developed by, that is Microsoft. Understood that? It is developed by, I am going to increase my Zoom. Okay, that is what, okay, try to now. No, try to understand. So this C Sharp is designed by Microsoft, developed by, okay. So it runs on .NET framework, okay. So C Sharp, as I told you that it is a compiler-based program. So we need have a IDE, okay, integrated development environment to write. So many we have studied that C, C++, Java, they are compiler based. So why do we need compiler to convert that code into mesh? That is what your source code into object code means. Object code means that is binary language. Otherwise, it is like what your 0, 1 bits. Okay. Simply you say that object code. So to run the C Sharp, we need to download Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay. So Visual Studio is an IDE like VS Code, Visual Studio Code. That is also an IDE which will be used to run the program C, C++, Java, Python, like that. If you want to run C Sharp, if you want to write the code C Sharp, we must have a IDE, Integrated Development Environment, that is Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay. Okay. So you simply understand that C Sharp, it is a program, it runs on .NET framework. Okay. So .NET framework, I have briefed in the last class how to install .NET framework, and then after how to install Visual Studio. Okay, I have simply briefed in last classes. Okay, you read that video. Please watch that video how to install .NET framework, and then after how to install Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay. So this C Sharp is used to develop web apps, web applications, desktop application, mobile application, games, and much more. This is the general use. Okay. Now, so next is what? This is some syntax. You need to understand that this is the basic syntax. Whenever you load, whenever you want to write. So for initially using system. So like in Java, in C, C++, every instruction that will be end with semicolon. This is the using system. Okay. Namespace, hello world. I will explain all the things and don't confuse yourself. Because of now, as the programmers, we must have the skills, basic of syntax of all the languages like your already we have started to teach, that is Python, Java. Then after I started to teach C. Okay, so C Sharp, why I want to start C Sharp? So many companies like Wipro, the service-based companies, they are developing the applications. They are using .NET framework to develop the applications. Okay, so whenever we deal with .NET framework and Visual Studio, surely you must have the knowledge over C Sharp. Okay, so see, this is one syntax. So here, similar, if you know Java very well, this static void main string arguments. I hope that you remember yourself. Here, public keyword is not here. Static. In Java, public static void main string, this is same. Only this sentence, it is not having public. So in C Sharp, this is the method. This is the main method. Okay. We have studied in Java. This is the main method. But in main method in Java, public static. So here there's no any public. Huh? So without public static, void main string arguments. So let us try to understand. This is the main method. This is the main method. Why it means, what do you mean? This method will not return anything. We have studied in Java. This main method, it will not return anything. That's why static is what? This method belongs to a class method. It is not a, no need to create any object to run this method. So I have briefed in Java that moment whenever I was taking the classes, that moment I told you that whenever a method you keep static keyword means that method is the class method. So no need to create object. Okay. String arguments. This is the array. Array. Okay. Arguments is called a variable name. Okay. So whenever you go in deep and deep, you will try to understand. So if you want to get print out statement in Java, simply we will write system dot out. System dot out dot println. Here console dot write line. Write line is a method that is the part of console. Okay, it is a console is a class. Okay, this is the method. The method is being accessed. Okay, so this is the hello world. Okay, so simple. You try to understand this is the syntax, but line by line we will try to understand. Okay, because just I have started. Then after, see, every method, this is the main method, must be part of a class. Okay. So how to start the class? Class, keyword, then class name. And then whenever class you have started, you need to start flower braces. So method must be part of a class, like in Java. So this is the class. Then I have started brackets, flower braces, then method. Okay, now under the method, print statement, now method is closed. This is the open brace, this is the close brace. So method is closed. Now this total method is part of a class. Whenever you have started the class, then flower brace, and this is for class. This is the class closing brace, flower brace. So now this main method is part of your class. Now class started with flower brace, this is the closing brace. Then this total class and method, the class and method, now it is part of this namespace. So from here, C# compiler looks for, it tries to, it actually, C# compiler looks for this brace, flower brace. From here, C# compiler tries to read the line by line, tries to execute the line by line, compiler. Okay. So next is what I will explain why namespace, what do you mean of using system? I will explain. Huh? So now come down. So if you run this code, so you will get simply, this is the output. Hello world. Hello world is a string. It is a string type of data kept in double quotation marks. So in Java, same string always will be kept in double quotation mark. In C also. Okay. I have not started C++. So soon also I will start the C++ because we need to understand all the programming languages. Now one C++. Already we started to understand Java, Python, and then I have started C. Up to I have completed how to create the pointer. Okay, now I come to C sharp. Why I feel to start C sharp means some companies which are like service-based companies, they are using Visual Studio Code Editor to develop the applications. Okay, so .NET Framework and Visual Studio they are using that moment. If you are using .NET Framework and Visual Studio as an IDE, that moment you must be familiar with the C Sharp. Okay, so knowing of any knowledge, it will not never be going waste. Okay, so now come down. So this is executed. Okay. Now, let us try to understand. Okay. Now, Here is a small example. Insert the missing part of the code below to output hello world. Okay. So static void, here we need to write the main method. The main method name. This is the, as I told you that static means this method name, okay, must be static, means it is not part of any object, it is part of class. This method will not any return anything. That's why void. If in this place, if you write any integer float, mean this method returns something, integer float, okay. This is the string array and name of the string array name variable. So within the flower braces, now here you need to write what first, what we need to write, console dot, so right line. Okay, let us see whether we have written same right line. Let's try to understand as it is. So learning of any language, no, it is not difficult for yourself. You can simply, any language you can learn. Is my promise. You can learn a lot of languages. Okay, you can develop your programming skills. It doesn't matter. So right line, right capital letter, line capital. Now you submit the answer. So we will try to check back that. So you have written good. So we started to understand C Sharp well. So starting exercise we have completed. It is a good achievement for us. Okay, not only for me, you also. Okay. Now this after that, see here whenever we have written only method is there. Okay, but this method, we need to keep that method in a class, and then that is what we need to understand. Huh? Next, now come down here. This is the, this is what starting class, no? Tutorial starting. Now come to next. So this is called online editor, huh? Web editor. So in this website, we can write the code and we can edit the code. So this is home introduction. Next, come to the introduction. Introduction. So let us try to know what is C sharp. It is pronounced as C sharp. So it is an object-oriented programming language. It is very important. C is not object-oriented. C++ is not, is C++, Java, Python, these are all object-oriented. They will support all that object-oriented concepts, class, method, class attributes, and inheritance. That is what class variables, instance variables, and the basic principles, inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation. Okay, so object-oriented programming. So it is created by Microsoft. It runs on the .NET framework. Initially, we have studied. So C Sharp has roots from the C family. As I told you that C Sharp created uh, with the help of both the C and the C++. So, and the language is close to other programming like C++ and Java. So, C Sharp developed by taking the support of C and other languages, C++. So it is close to other popular languages. Why? It is close. Why? So some syntax looks like every line to be terminated with the semicolon, and the main method is there, like in uh, Java. Okay. So the first version was released 2000, latest C Sharp 12 version. It is released in 2023. So let us try to know what are the applications of mobile. We can do application, mobile application, desktop applications, web application, web services, websites. We can use this C Sharp to create the websites also, game development, VR, virtual reality, database applications, and many more. Next, why? Why do we need to use C Sharp? It is one of the most popular program in the world. It is also so famous in the world. So it is easy to learn and simple to use. It is very simple, huh? It has huge community support. You are not alone. Okay, if you have any problems, you are not able to solve the code, you can contact the community throughout the world and they will support you. So C Sharp is an object-oriented language, as I told you that. So it has some clear structure to programs and allows code to be reused. So like that in another programming language, the code can be used by creating the methods and functions. Okay. So that code can be reused by creating of functions. Huh? So So whenever it is close to C, C++, and Java, so it is very easy for our programmers. We can understand the C sharp. Okay. If you know the C sharp, so you can understand C++, Java. If you know C++, and Java, you can switch to C sharp, vice versa. If you know C sharp, you have started to understand C sharp initially, then you can simply understand C and C++ Java. If you know any C++ and Java, it is very simple to understand C sharp. So now next is what? Get started. Huh? Within this, try to understand IDE. That is very important. We need to understand the IDE. As I told you that it is a compiler-based program. So your source code, whatever the instructions you write, they need to be converted into that is your object code. That is called your binary language, binary digits, 0, comma 1, binary numbers, object, everything is okay. So you must have an ID integrated development environment to write the code, compile the code, and execute the code. Edit the code also. Hmm? If you want to start with C Sharp, use the IDE. That IDE is Visual Studio. Integrated development is to edit and compile. You write the code, edit the code, compile the code, and execute the code. So here they are using Visual Studio Community Edition. Visual Studio not only is every IDE they have different editions. One is Enterprise Edition, Student Edition, Community Edition. So this Visual Studio Community, this is free. So you can download freely. Okay, you can download free. So go this website, visualstudio.microsoft.com. As I told you that this is developed by this ID Microsoft. So you need to visit this website too if you want to download your Visual Studio. Okay, this is the IDE for C Sharp. Every programming language, if you want to run over any programming language, you must have somewhat IDE. Okay. So once you write any application C sharp, it uses the .NET framework. Okay. If you write applications in C sharp, it uses the .NET framework. Okay. So if it is using .NET framework, so surely we need to download Visual Studio. Okay. So, .NET framework already I have briefed. It is a huge library. So it will support to develop the applications. So .NET framework, it is a huge class. Okay. Class means nothing but libraries. They have so much of code. It was written within that, and that will be used to develop the applications. Okay. So now this .NET Framework and Visual Studio, all of them have been developed by Microsoft. Okay. So how to C Sharp install? That is very important. Once Visual Studio installer is downloaded and installed, okay, in my computer, I have installed the Visual Studio. If you want to check, you simply write Visual Studio. It is already installed. Visual Studio 2022. Okay. In my computer, Visual Studio 2022 also, Visual Studio Code is also I have. Okay, now, once Visual Studio installer is downloaded and installed, I have installed. Now choose the .NET workload and click on the modify install button. Okay, we will check back one by one. Okay. You choose the whenever you have installed Visual Studio installer under this workloads, modify install button. Okay. Under the modify installation button, there after the installation complete, click on the launch button to get started with Visual Studio. On the start window, choose create a new project. Whenever I will go into this Visual Studio, I will explain. Huh? Okay. Whenever I now now I don't want to go into Visual Studio because I write the code in online editor and I will, then after I switch to Visual Studio. First of all, let me brief the code to write in the online editor and that is what edit the code, compile the code, execute the first we will try to that. Then after I will switch to Visual Studio. Okay. So don't worry about that. Now come here. Next syntax. First of all, we need to understand the syntax is what. Syntax, as I told you that here, whenever a file, we create a file, okay, that file name program.cs. Program.cs. Why? Because see, uh, I have started class program. See, this is a class program. Means I have created a class name program. Now, whenever you need to save, you need to save with this class name. So program.cs. So you need to save this file name as program.cs. CS means this is the extension file. In Python.py, in C.c, in C++, CPP.cpp. In Java, it is called .java. So like in Java, class name and file name equal to be matched in Java. Na? Here, no need. Okay. Here, no need. Okay. So this is your file name. Huh? So that moment, whenever you want to store, you need to write program.cs. Okay. Simply try to understand that. So and then after we need to understand this total syntax. Okay. Now your file name, whenever you want to say, you you have created your class name as program. So whenever you want to store, simply you store that file program.cs. CS means C sharp. Now come down. Now let us try to understand what is this totally, what is this total syntax is what? What do you mean of using this system? Here, system, it is a class. Okay. So try to understand. Using system means that we can use classes from the system namespace. So if you use using system means we can use classes from this system namespace. Here system is a namespace. Okay. So from that system namespace, we can use the classes. Okay. You simply understand. Now, then after we will try to understand. So using name system means that we can use classes. Already we have studied class and objects, methods in that is what your C++. C++ I have not taught. In object-oriented programming Java. So in Java, in Python also, we try to understand the classes. So using system means system is a namespace. From that, we can use classes. You simply understand that. Okay, next. Next line is what? It is to be terminated. Semicolon syntax. Namespace hello world. What do you mean of this? A blank line. Here blank line has been given. One or two blank lines have been given. So for more code readability. So if you will not give any blank space, it will be look somewhat congested. So that's why two blank lines have been given. So blank lines ignores white space. However, multiple lines makes the code more readable. If you give spaces and gap, so you can understand the code readability is well. So what do you mean by namespace? Use it to organize your code. So it is a namespace is a container for classes and other namespaces. So here namespace you try to understand it is the container for the classes. Means namespace will have many classes and also many more namespaces. Like this system is a namespace here. So namespace once whenever you use here namespace, so it is a container which will be having classes. It is a container for classes and other namespaces. So second line, this is what, okay? Next, third line. The curly braces makes the beginning and end of the block of code. As I told you that here, from here, you have started the brace here and end the brace here. So means this namespace, whenever you have mentioned namespace, you need to start the brace. So this C sharp compiler tries to understand from here, tries to read the lines, then after this brace. So, okay. And this brace indicating the end of the code, end of the code. So the curly braces marks the beginning and end of a block of code. So next class is a container for data and methods. So in Java also we will start to create a class. Okay. And then after class name. Okay. Now already we have studied in Java that class will have the methods. Okay. Method, that is what public method means, built-in methods and user-defined methods. That in Java, class may have built-in methods, like main method is the built-in method, and we can create our user-defined methods under the class. So in C#, class is a container for data and methods. Data and methods. So you simply understand that as we have studied in Java, so class may have methods and data means your instance variables, class variables, okay, like that. So this is very important. Every line of code that runs in C# must be inside of a class. That is very important. Every line of code. Now this is the line of code. This is the method. Under the method, this is the line of code. Okay, understand? Every line of code that must be under class. So under this class, method is here, like in Java. Okay. Now, so our class name is program. So simply here, they are stating that don't worry if you don't understand how using system, don't confuse you. Here they are stating that now you will not be able to understand using system, namespace, and class works. So gradually you will try to understand all them. Now don't worry. Okay. Next, another thing that always appear in is main method. That is always appear in C programming. Main method always appear. Okay. In C sharp programming. Okay. Any code inside its curly brackets will be executed. So under this main method, always main method will be this the main method. Under this main method, under this curly braces, whatever the code we will write that will be executed. Okay. So that is very important. So if you don't have to understand the keywords before and after main, oh, already we have studied in Java. So we can understand that is not a problem. So console is a class of the system namespace. Console, it is a class, system namespace. So this is the system. Already I told you that system, why system namespace used here to use the classes. So now this console is the class of this system namespace. This console is a class and it is the part of system namespace. So what about this? This is a method to get the code, to display the code in the screen. This is the method. In Java, we will use system.out.println. Okay, like this here, right line method we have used it here. See, try to understand. That is what console is a class of the system namespace. Okay, and which has a write line method. Understood that? Every same. If we understand the Java very well, we can simply understand the this C sharp. It doesn't matter. Huh? I will spend with you 10 minutes. Huh? Now 20:30. So 20:40 class will be closed. Okay. So now, so console is a class of the system namespace. So once class is there, it must have write line method that is used to output print text. So in Java system.out.println, that println is the method to get the display on the screen. Here we are using write line method. So then we will get the output hello world. Okay. So simple question is that if you omit this using system, why? If you remove this using system, so try to understand. If you remove this using system, so then what happens? That moment, if you using system means this console. If you want to use this console, so you must use you must use system namespace. Otherwise, because this console class is the part of system namespace. So if you omit this one, then we can't use this console class. At that moment, we can change the code. What we can then system dot console write line we need to write we need to add system. Why? Because if you want to if you want to omit using system line, so means that moment what happened, we can't use the system class, so then directly add system dot, like in Java system dot out. In place of out, here we are using console, then println in Java, write line method, to write method. Okay. So every C sharp statement ends with a semicolon. C sharp is case sensitive, means my class, both are different. Okay. So case sensitive. So, so here one point we need to understand that unlike Java, unlike Java, the name of the C sharp file doesn't have to match the class name. Already I have briefed that. Unlike Java, in Java, the name of the, in Java, class name and file name must be matched. That is very important in Java, okay? Class name and file name, they must be matched in Java. But in C sharp, the name of the C sharp file doesn't have to match the class name. Okay. So once you have create a file name, so see, understand, this is your class name. Okay, class program. So you can store this file name with a different name. It doesn't mean, okay. If you store this class, our class name is program. If you store this with program dot that is what CS, there is no any problem. If you want to change the file name different, there is no any problem. Okay, that is up to your wish. You can store this. You can store this program with the class name. Otherwise, you can change the name. That's not no. It's not compulsory. But in Java, class name and file name both be must be matched. Eh? Now come to the point, but they often do for better organizations. But normally they do for better organization means For better organization means your class name and file name, if you match in C, so they will be organized better. Okay, it's not compulsory, but if you follow, that will be so better. Okay. So as I told you that when saving the file, save it using a proper name and .cs. Okay, now one thing I want to run this code here. See, this is the code I have here. This is the online editor as I told you that. So now run this code. Okay, so you are getting this hello world. Now here, can I change this program name and without I can change this as per your wish. You change this program. You simply you write program. Now I told you that it is case sensitive. C sharp is case sensitive. Before that, small capital program was there. I have used it program. Now you run this code. What happened? Whether it will be executed? Yes, still you are getting. Okay, if you want to change this program name as mine, my Vasu class. Vasu is my class name now. So then it will be run. Surely it will be run because okay, you are getting all over. Means I have changed class name. You can keep your name. There's no any meaning. Okay. Now come to the point. What about that? If I omit this one, that moment, now if you run this code, what happened? You are getting this one. You are getting this one. No? So that moment, what we need to, because we need to use system. Now I told you that whenever using system, because system is a namespace that has so many classes. Okay. Now I can use if I omit the using system. So if I omit that, I need to add system. System is a namespace. Now console is a class of namespace, system namespace. That's right. Now if you run this code, that will be executed. Huh? You are getting this one. As I told you. Okay. Now come down. So what we can do here, this is compulsory right line method. Hello world. If you change, suppose this is a string I told you that if you want to keep this string in single quotation marks, whether it is possible, it will not accept that. You will get the syntax error. Okay. Now if you run this, because you will get the syntax error here. You are getting error. Okay. This is the error. So why? Because always the string to be kept in C sharp also, that must be in double quotation marks. It must be kept in double quotation marks. So now run this code, you will get the code well. This is okay. Now under the main method, whatever, if we change, we can change this main method name. No, it must be main method. So if you run this small, but in Python, in Java, method name must be small capital, small case. Class name always capital, but here class name can be case sensitive. You can keep any name, small case and capital, doesn't matter. But main method here, let us see in Java, main method always in small case. Let us see what happened here. So it is giving error. So always we need to keep this main method as capital letter. Okay. So now it is